So, time for another update, and I wanted to talk about the dust busting sound, which is the voiceover, and then VFX work and timeline. So, with the dust busting, I'm finished with 3 of the 4 reels. There was one technical difficulty that set us back about 2.5 weeks, and that had to do with the Apple Store, believe it or not. This software right here, this is our host software, DaVinci Resolve, and this right here is our plugin that we use for the visual effects work. What I didn't realize was the version of DaVinci Resolve that I bought off the Apple Store was not actually a full version. They sell it with the same name, Resolve Studio. It's the same price, $300, whether you buy it on the Apple Store or go to a local video equipment store, production equipment store, and buy it there. It's still $300. So I thought, hey, this is easy. I don't have to go anywhere. Just download it and start working. It wasn't until I was 4 weeks in to the whole process that I found out it's not actually a full version. And that's why I was having problems with this plugin, Silhouette. So what I decided to do was, as I'm working through the forums, trying to get technical support, trying to work that out, I thought I'll just use the standalone version of Silhouette because it comes with both. And then once I get it figured out, I'll just transfer the project into the plugin and it'll be fine. Well, that's not 100% possible. There's some instances where it's possible and others where it's not, and because of the version of Silhouette combined with the version of DaVinci Resolve I had and the way that I started the projects, it was not possible for one of the reels. So that was reel 1. Reels 2 and 3 were started within this ecosystem, and they live in there and everything's fine. All right, so here's one of our reels. This is reel 2B, and all this red down here, these are all the frames that have been painted. Let's find a frame with some dust on it. There's one right in the middle of his forehead. That's the input. Let's view the output. There you go. So 3 of our reels have this work done. The first reel, the one that kind of got stuck in the standalone version, this is what I was talking about in previous videos about the round tripping process. Round tripping, again, that means starting in one piece of software, Resolve, and then going into this one, which is Silhouette, and then once you do your work, you have to render it out, which is another export, and then you got to bring it back into here in Resolve. And so what I was worried about are certain problems with the way different pieces of software interpolate files on the export-import process. What I wanted to do was keep everything within this plug-in here, because then you don't have to do the import export. Everything just lives within this one ecosystem. So one of our reels is stuck in that round tripping process, which means some highlights are getting clipped, but the good news is all of the work, all of the painted frames are there. So instead of this, which would be a clip, a new clip would be loaded in right there, and then this line would be moved over to the new clip, and so all of this, the paint and everything, would just carry over to the new clip. So I just have to figure out why the interpolation is wrong, do a re-export, and then hook that up, and that reel number 1 will be complete. So we did a remote session with the product manager for Silhouette, and he poked around, dialed into my computer, poked around, and found some issues. And those issues pointed to the main problem, which was the version of Resolve that I had was from the Apple Store, and the Apple Store won't allow the plugin to work properly. So I checked with DaVinci Resolve to see if they would give me a non-Apple Store license and take back that one, which should be no problem given the hardship that this has caused, because it's just software. You know, once they have the software created and you've paid your $300, they should be able to just send you another version of the software. It's free to them, but they won't do that. It has something to do with the Apple Store and agreements or legal whatever. So what I had to do was go to my local video production equipment store and buy a new license. I'm not happy about that. So what I did was file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission on the Apple Store, on both Apple and Black Magic Design, which makes the Resolve software, because that's misleading. Users are led to believe that it's a full version when it's not. I guess they assume that you should just know by now that there are problems with the Apple Store. And then interestingly, that was a few weeks back. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I saw a post on, I think it was LinkedIn, where the Federal Trade Commission is getting ready to file papers on the Android version, the Google Play Store, I think it is, for manipulating something with regards to products and services. I would predict that Apple would be on their radar as well. But anyways, I can't sit around for all that to get worked out, so I just went and bought a new version and paid another $300, got it integrated, and now everything's working. So now that we've got it all working properly, I'm not worried about the fourth reel. That's going to go off, knock on wood, without a hitch. And so I'm putting that on hold, because the other two major things that we need to do are re-record the radio parts, which is what I've been calling the voiceover. And so now I'm doing the research to help generate that dialogue, get it recorded. I expect that'll take like 6 to 8 weeks. The VFX, so good news there is I was able to connect with a couple of people that I haven't seen in a while. One of them is a visual effects coordinator who works in features in LA, where has worked on lots of big motion pictures, major motion pictures, and I had a Zoom meeting with her recently, and she gave me a lot of good information about the pipeline, how it all works, the different stages that VFX go through. At the end of that meeting, she also offered to check around, see if she maybe could find somebody who was interested, a VFX artist, who was interested in working with us and helping us out with these VFX shots. So that's one of those things where you just kind of have to wait and see what happens. But since we're on like an 8-week timeline, I'm gonna put that at 6 to 8 weeks. That sounds reasonable. We'll see what happens. Now that brings up the timeline. Where we go with this once it's finished is the film festivals. There are 5 major film festivals that you try to get into, the A-tier festivals. We're coming up on the entry time period, which starts in September. I think it's mid-September. So that starts with Sundance, and then there's another one in November, and then I think January, February, March. So that's really what we're trying to hit. The problems we've experienced with the dust busting don't really hold us up too much, because we've still got 8 weeks to get finished. That's kind of it, you know, and we're just going to keep on rolling, and I guess I'll do another update when we get closer to that September 1st deadline and let you know where we're at, maybe a little sooner depending on what happens. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.